Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character existed by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche. He's been sitting with you for a while. His emotions that have been festering there for a while had gotten the best of him. And as his hand found its way underneath your shirt, he looked up at you with a shy and nervous expression. His eyes gazed into yours, seeking your approval and hoping that he wasn't doing anything you didn't want. Is this alright, Mayan? He asked in a soft voice, his hand trembling slightly. You could feel his heart beating fast against his chest, and he knew that he was feeling just as nervous as you were. You smiled at him, placing your hand over his and giving it a gentle squeeze. Yes, it's okay, reassured him. I trust you, Skira. And that's when he let out a relieved sigh, his hand now resting on your bare skin. He leaned in closer to you, his lips grazing against your neck, as he whispered, I just wanted to feel closer to you, Ayan. You wrapped your arms around him, pulling him in for a tight embrace. I feel the same way, he whispered back, your words muffled by his shoulder. And as the two of you stood there, locked in each other's arms, you couldn't help but feel a surge of warmth and affection wash over you. You knew that Scaramouche was the one for you, and that you were grateful to have him by your side. I love you, you murmured, looking up at him with a smile. And I love you too, Scaramouche replied, leaning down to kiss you. His lips were soft and gentle against yours, and you could feel his love pouring into the kiss. In that moment, nothing else mattered. You were with the one you loved, and if you were to be quite honest, that was all you needed from the world. To you, Scaramouche, to seem happy, and sharing your happiness with him. The two of you right now felt like you were on top of the world, and no one could stop you from feeling that way. Venti, you and Venti were sitting down next to each other, and you could see the way he was looking at you. And soon it seemed like his desire was getting the best of him, as his hand boldly found its way underneath your shirt. He looked up at you with a mischievous glint in his eyes, his lips curving into a smile, as if he was daring you to object with the way he was staring at you. Lion, what do you think about this? He asked you in a teasing voice, his hand now resting on your bare skin. Do you like it? Or shall I stop? You couldn't help but giggle at his antics, feeling your cheeks flush with warmth. No, it's okay, I guess. You replied, your voice laced with amusement. Minty's smile widened and he leaned in closer to you. His breath was warm against your ear as he whispered, I'm glad you think so. You felt a shiver run down your spine, his touch sending waves of pleasure throughout your body. It was moments like this that you cherished the most, when you and Venti were alone, free to be yourselves without any worries or distractions. And as you leaned in closer to him, your lips found his in a passionate kiss. Venti's arms wrapped around your waist, and then he deepened the kiss. It was intense. The taste of his mouth, the feel of his body against yours, and the sound of his racked breaths. When he finally broke the kiss away, you were both breathless and dazed. Venti gazed at you with a look of pure adoration, his hand still resting on your skin. I love you, he murmured. His voice told his emotion and adoration. You smiled at him, feeling your heart swell with love. After all, it was hard not to feel this way when he had just spoiled you like this mere seconds ago. And I love you too, Venti. I always will, he replied, leaning in to press one more soft kiss to his lips. In that moment, he knew that you and Venti were truly meant to be. Xiao? Xiao was very nervous about this, but with the way you were wearing the see-through shirt, it was getting very difficult for him to resist. And Xiao's hand trembled as he tentatively placed it underneath your shirt. His face was flushed with a mix of nervousness and excitement, and most of all, you could clearly see the uncertainty in his eyes. He was very nervous about this. He was not the most touchy person around. An initiating touch, on its own, especially something as intimate as this, filled him with nervousness. Wyan, are you sure this is alright? He asked, his voice barely a whisper, and you could feel his heart racing against your chest. And you knew that he was feeling as nervous as you were. But despite all of those feelings in his heart, and despite his hesitation, you could see the love and tenderness in his eyes, and you knew that he was trying his best to show you how much he cared and how much he absolutely loved you. Yes, it's fine, Xiao. I trust you. You reassured him, placing your hand over his and giving it a gentle squeeze. Xiao let out a relieved sigh, his hand now resting on your bare skin. He looked up at you with a shy smile, his eyes full of adoration. I just want to be closer to you, he murmured, his voice barely audible. You could feel the weight of his words, the depth of his emotions. It was moments like this that you cherished the most. When Xiao opened up to you, when he let his guard down, and showed you the vulnerable side of him. You leaned in closer to him, your lips finding his, in a soft and tender kiss. It was a delicate dance of passion and tenderness, as if you were both afraid of breaking the spell. When you finally pulled away, Xiao looked at you, his eyes full of wonder and amazement, his hands underneath your shirt, firm on your skin. And he placed a hand on your cheek, his touch feather-light and gentle. Though he could not say the words I love you yet, he said something that still meant the same. You're my world, he whispered, his voice filled with love. And you smiled at him, your eyes softening. And you're my world too, Xiao. You're the entirety of it. And for now, that will be your way of saying I love you too.